Hi there, this is Mr. Jones, and I'd like to help you today with estimating square roots. Now remember, the squares of integers are called perfect squares. Okay, for example, 5 squared is 25, so 25 is called a perfect square. And therefore, all perfect squares have square roots that are integers. Okay, 1 squared, for example, is equal to 1. Therefore, the square root of 1 is equal to 1, an integer. 2 squared is equal to 4, so therefore the square root of 4 is equal to 2. 3 squared is equal to 9, and therefore the square root of 9 is equal to 3. Okay, so if you know that x is some number between 4 and 9, right? Let's suppose that we let x equal 7. Right? 4 and 9 are perfect squares. 4 is 2 squared, 9 is 3 squared. Well, that means then that the square root of x, or the square root of 7 in this case, has to be a number that's less than the square root of 9 and that's greater than the square root of 4. Okay? Therefore, I know that the square root of 7 is less than 3 and greater than 2. It's a number somewhere between 2 and 3. Okay? You can approximate its value on your calculator, but we know that it has to be a number that's between 2 and 3. Okay, let's look at an example. Suppose I want to estimate the square root of 20 by finding the integers it's between. Okay, well, I need to just by trial and error practice until I find the square of two integers that's more than 20 and less than 20. Okay, for example, I happen to know that 5 squared is 25. Okay, so I know that the square root of 20 has to be smaller than 5, smaller than the square root of 25. Okay, I also know, though, that 4 squared is 16. Since 20 is greater than 16, then I know that the square root of 20 has to be greater than 4. Okay, so by finding perfect squares on either side of 20, I'll be able to determine that the square root of 20 is a number that's between 4 and 5. Okay? It's greater than 4, but it's less than 5. In fact, if you approximate it on your calculator, you'll find that the square root of 20 to the nearest 100th is equal to 4.47. Okay? So it's pretty close to halfway between 4 and 5. All right, well, why don't you see then number 2, if you can see between what two integers, consecutive integers, would the square root of 41.3 lie? Okay, and when you think you've gotten it, or when you're finished, then hit continue. Okay, well, let's see how you did. I can scoot that up just a little bit. There we go. Well, I know that 6 squared is equal to 36. Right? 41.3 is greater than 36, but 7 squared is 49, and 41.3 is less than 49. Okay? That tells me that the square root of 41.3 must be a number that is less than 7 and greater than 6. Okay? Well, I think that that should be enough to go on, and I'll leave you with this. If you need to, you can work through this tutorial another time, but I think that you should do fine, so work carefully, work well.